Good morning, Frank Retirement Home members. I'm Lunar B here with Zach Vexel and Ginkgo on the Spectate. We're here vibing out with Death Dealers versus Bodega Hive Walker Division. Zach, how you doing this early Sunday morning?
Oh, live, awake, alert, enthusiastic, enjoying the snow. So we got that going for us around here. How you doing?
I'm doing quite well heading into these picks and bans. My screen is a little fuzzy right now, so just waiting for this to update. But it looks like we have Sol, Oleron, and Freya on the Death Dealer side as far as bands, along with Apollo, Athena, and Chernobog.
We're seeing a lot of ADC bands come out over here, and I think that's a very good statement of what these teams are prioritizing. And the magical ADCs over on the Death Dealer side, to boot. You know, the Soul gives a lot of lane pressure. The Freya, same thing. You get a couple items online with her, let her scale to late game. If you don't touch that character, and you let her deal what she wants to, she's going to be a late game menace. And then over on the other side, we're seeing a lot of standard bans and global pressure. You know, we talk about this every single week. The Chernobog, probably one of our best ADCs that we have in the game. Athena, probably one of the best supports in the game right now. And then global ults on top of it. The Apollo's a little bit interesting, still having that global ult potential. But here we see the Thor get first picked over on the side of the Death Healers. No surprise there.
No, absolutely not. I know Beastie is most likely their jungler over there and is very strong on the Thor, along with a Geb and Thoth being picked up over on Bodega side. Thoth is a great pick for Scooby over in the mid lane, and Darth Dumbledore ran house last season over on his Geb.
Oh, Darth Summer really puts up those numbers on the Geb. He's always there making sure that his team gets those shields online and making sure that he's standing by with his teammates. I mean, he won the championship, am I right? The Thoth is a
Yes.
very interesting pick for me. I think the pick has a lot of clear potential, a lot of poke potential, and mixed in with this Geb, if they can synergize their CC together, they can be a very powerful threat for some Thoth ultimates coming through, or even just getting poke off in general.
Absolutely. And we are seeing Frank being able to pick up his Izanami here. Going back to these bands earlier, these are very targeted bands. Blue and Frank are some of the better known god pools for the EDCs in this division. And Blue goes great on magical EDCs, and Frank goes great with Cherno and Apollo. So his next best god is Izanami here. So seeing him up on that is great, especially with Jungle Scrub being on this Ganesha as well.
I'm very happy to see the Ganesha get picked up before going into second phase. We know that one's going to get banned out. Just honestly, a very good, safe support. I'm going to sit in the back, keep my team alive, maybe even cage this Thoth if he's playing it a little bit aggressive, and prevent their dive from doing much of anything. The Izanami to top it off is really going to help with the Ganesha's a little bit of lack of pressure. I see him more of as a mid to late game, getting around with the grouping kind of god. The Izanami is going to help that lane clear just get down to Pat. And then we see the Sun Wukong over on the opposite end, kind of playing it safe over in the solo lane. So we kind of have this scaling pick in the mid, a little bit of a safety pick over in the solo lane. And here we come out with our mage solo bands over on the side of the Bodega Hive. I'm sure that's where those two gods are ideal right now with this meta. The Opwash, a lot of sustain, a lot of damage, a lot of AoE, a lot of clear. The Raijin, a lot of damage, a lot of AoE, a lot of clear. Over on the opposite end, then we see the Death Dealers banning out these semi-global ultimate assassins. A lot of early game pressure coming out from Ratatasker, Thanatos. You let these gods do what they want in the early game, and it'll definitely contest this Thor in the jungle.
Absolutely. I know Jungle Scrub specifically hates going up against Thanatos, so seeing that ban is not very surprising there. And I think Bodega definitely pulled out good bans here because they didn't know what was coming up next, whether it was going to be mage or solo. So those magical solo laners that could still be played in mid is a great ban set there. We're seeing, I believe it's going to be blue on Hachiman and Tech on Poseidon along with a Yanis pickup. I'm assuming H Diddy may be going Poseidon over here in solo lane with Tech going on Yanis mid, which will be fantastic to see. I know Tech is great over in the mid lane. Really solid numbers coming out from prospects and from last week. Great gods for him to go on to, along with a Bastet pick over on Jungle X Jimmy, who is just going to run house.
Personally, if I were to give my opinion here, I think this Poseidon pick going in the jungle would be phenomenal for the Death Dealers. The way I look at it, as you're looking at the solo lane for Bodega Hive with this Sun Wukong. He wants to play
Mhm.
safe. He wants to play a little bit further back. He wants to have that kind of escape for him, especially if he's got that global ult of the Thor that could come in at him at any moment. When he sees that mage in lane, now I'm running it down. The entire first 5 levels of the game, especially until that Poseidon gets that first item online, I'm running it down, running it down, running it down, shoving it down his throat, and trying to invade as many blues as I can to get that early lead. It won't be a good time for the Poseidon unless our Thor over here gives him that kind of pressure, or alleviates that kind of pressure. That's why I think putting the Poseidon over in the jungle will actually allow him to scale a little bit better with this team comp. Obviously being a little bit wary of that Bastet, but might influence a little bit more for that character. I'd be interested to see it.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how the current team is going to work out up against Bodega. I know Death Dealers is a bunch of friends who love to hang out and drink and have fun. So seeing them together will be really fun, especially on these solid pick gods that they have. I know Boomer loves Ganesh. I know Frank loves Iza. I know BC loves Thor. So seeing them on these comfort picks and these great picks for them, they're very strong on these picks as well. Seeing them go up against someone as tech technically skilled as Bodega is going to be very fun. And I know for sure Death Dealers will be able to pull out great damage numbers and great synergy because of this as well.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to come down to how well these teams can team fight together. The way I look at it over on the Bodega Hive side, can we get some picks? Can we apply some CC? Let this Thoth ult launch through, deal a little bit of poke damage with the Thoth, the Hachi, the Sun Wukong, all having fantastic poke abilities, and Bastet included in that, until they can
Mhm.
fully commit on a single target. And then over on the Death Dealer side, I see a team fight comp right here. You know, we're locking people down with the Ganesh ult. We're landing on our backline with the Thor and really just blowing people up with this double mage ult combo, silencing them with the Ganesh, silencing them with the Izanami ult. A lot of team fight potential coming out there.
Absolutely. It's going to be really fun to see as these games go on. I think during the beginning, we're going to see a lot of safe plays done by Death Dealers here. They're going to try and hold back, going to try and hold their lives up and get their XP where they can, while I anticipate Bodega trying to run house a little bit in the laning phase, but I think Death Dealers is going to really be able to pull it out as we get into this later mid to late game.
Oh, for sure. So draft wise, way we're looking at it, Death Dealers or Bodega, what are you thinking?
I think it depends a lot on if Jungle, Shimmy, and Ben are able to sync up. I think that's where it depends a lot. If they're able to sync up and get what they need going, then it's going to go in the way of Bodega. If they're still desynergized or if they're still coming together and trying to get their synergies worked out, it's going to go in the way of Death Dealers.
We're going to find out exactly which way it's going to go as we make our way into game number 1, Death Dealers versus Bodega Hive. We're seeing a lot of very standard builds coming out so far right now. Lacking recipes on one member on both sides.
Ooh, both Darth Dumbledore and HDD missing their recipes, but all okay. Sometimes they pick them up after they go for their first back. I'm not sure of the full tech behind that, but I have heard reasonings behind. We are seeing Poseidon go for that vamp into Pythagoreans, and other than that, very standard builds. We do see Basset opting for the Bumbas as Thor is opting for that eye. So getting that little bit of jungle vision is going to be helpful for him. But we are seeing Basset come over for an early gank over onto this Poseidon here.
This is what I was worried about with this mage solo, and he got a little bit too far up, but was very well done by H. Diddy. Able to get that cripple off to make sure the Bastet doesn't jump back and trap him in. Little unsuccessful, but she looks like she wants more. She's coming in from behind. Poseidon playing very safe, though, back there. Able to clear the wave back on up and ensure that he doesn't lose his life early. Thor making the rotation over into the duo lane, though, as a response. Unable to secure any CC here.
Yeah, unable to secure any CC there, but was able to at least make his presence known, give Iza and Ganesh that little bit of pressure that they needed to make Hachin get back up, and that's really what is going to help Isa go further into this game. When Isa has pressure, she is happy, and she is able to run house where she wants to be.
Sure. Thor able to secure the shield buff away, and both duels lanes look like they're happy, just getting a little bit of poke on each other and clearing the waves happily. We do have some good ward vision by Bodega Hive over here on the dual lane, so I don't think that Thor's going to be ganking easily anytime soon. Bastet makes her way back into mid lane, but Janus moves herself away real nice and easy. Getting a Janus poked out. I mean, he's playing up against the wall, playing smart and playing safe. Not easy at all.
No, absolutely not. We do see Bastet coming over here and trying to get some more damage onto this Poseidon, and is going to be able to secure that kill with a leap. And then Sunwoo and Jungle Jimmy are going to be able to secure this totem to get some extra gold into their pocket and some mana running for their team. Now, this is why I was talking about earlier, where Ben and Jungle Jimmy need to have their synergies up and ready to go and try and get Ben ahead, because Ben is going to be able to rotate and act like a second jungler in this game.
Yeah, and without a doubt. And of note too, Poseidon lost his beads right away. Right at the end, you could just barely hear it. Him not having those beads makes these next 130 seconds right now very dangerous for him.
Absolutely, and not having TP up either, while Ben is going to be able to just TP back to lane if he has to back. It's going to make Poseidon lose significant amount of time, while Sunwoo is able to just catch up and go beyond what he's able to.
I'm sure once these first few items get online, we're going to start to see a lot of a difference coming out over in the silver lane, especially so far. That first pick coming on. Junglers moving on into their second rotation of buffs, just clearing up camps, back and getting some items online and seeing what they can do. Not seeing a whole lot of action so far because, well, we got some decent ward vision coming out finally on the solo lane side, helping them to make sure that Bastet doesn't sneak up behind him once again. She's coming around that backside twice. She's going to probably do it again, especially while those beads are down. Little contestation over for the shield buff coming out right now between the two dual lanes.
Yeah, and I know these early shield buffs really help out those early poke damage and really solidifies like where the ADC pressure is going to go. If you get too poked out too early on and have to back more often, you're just screwed for the rest of the game because you have to catch up in that farm that you're missing. So that shield buff really combats that poke damage that you're going to be going up against. And Heaven and Izzy on the opposite side, even Izzy versus Hachi, they're both very pokey gods. They have their stims, they have their abilities to be able to attack from a distance and then just run away. So having the shield buff on either side there is going to be helpful no matter what.
No real lead coming out too soon as of yet, but it looks like Bodega Hive, a couple of the members starting to finish some items. We see the Jotun's Wrath come out of the Bastet. That's telling me I want to push buttons a lot. I want to get a lot of abilities off, be this aggressive factor, maybe get my ult a lot, especially being a TC beads burning ultimate. Maybe we can pressure this Poseidon out a lot more than we could have otherwise. And then we see that Soul Leader get finished off by Ben Dizzle on the Sun Wukong. Getting those stacks online early might spell a little bit of trouble for our Poseidon if he can get that power spike ready.
Absolutely, and we are seeing that little bit of a lead in jungle going to Bastet, mostly because of that first blood damage, but we are seeing Yanis being able to get that level over on Cloth. And I imagine that's because of the early rotations that were able to be made so that Yanis can get ahead and help combat the damage that Thoth is putting out. So seeing Yanis being ahead here is just gonna be, in my opinion, more beneficial than Thoth ever being ahead, because I think Yanis's damage just goes burr going into late game. So just having that god ahead and having someone who as strong technically ahead in mid lane is just going to be a lifesaver for death dealers here.
Sure. Tectonics on the Janus end up having forced into the ultimate to get himself out of there, and a successful invade coming out on the side of Bodega Hive. Jungle Jimmy able to invade the blue buff, and here we see a fight going on in the dual lane just off the mark. Good Ganesha ult ended up saving his teammate over here, the Izanami. And does he get away with his life? It looks like he does as well. Both 1 HP. That's got to be very upsetting for Bluey on this Hachimon. Two very low targets just out of reach.
Oh, that's a big feels bad, but that's also a good sense of pride that he has, that he thinks that he can go through and 1v1 and be able to take those fights later on. But sometimes this early on in the game at back is the same as a kill. Just doesn't help your KDA. So, but seeing Hachi this high in damage numbers already, being at 5,000 damage at 6 minutes in the game, you know Hachi's fighting, he's putting out his damage, he's ready to fight and ready to be a frontliner along with his jungle and solo here, where he wants to fight and put out his damage here.
Izanami saying she's happy over there clearing waves a little bit, but hold that thought as we get a Geb ult here in mid. Unable to find any follow-up. And it looks like Thor's getting on in there right now. Just trying to get a little more. The Janus ult gets fired and it's just barely off the mark from hitting that Thoth. Very unfortunate. So close. Such a good team fight coming out. What we were saying though, Izanami over there, she wants to get that clear off and I think she's happy with it, but Bluey on this Hachiman is really showing that he wants to fight and he wants to take the fight to her as we see him contesting his shield buff yet again. Unable to get it though, it is secured by Frank on Izanami, taking this 1v1 fight. Both hunters getting very low. Who's going to land more auto attacks? And it looks like Frank's going to be able to just dash away with his life. Another low time coming out.
Frank isn't a big fighter. Oh, we are seeing that Poseidon ult come out, but he is gonna fall to Ben Dizzle over here. And we are seeing Thoth pick up Tectonics as well as Bastet comes in and secures the kill over on that Thor. That was a fight over in solo. Oof. And we do see Ben leaving and surviving on an inch of his life.
Very interesting fight. They were just a little too soon for the buff invades, but it doesn't look like that means anything to Scooby as he makes the rotation over from mid lane saying, you guys got a good fight. You ended up coming out successful. I want to make sure we get this buff anyway. And the 1v1 over in the dual lane goes in the favor of Bluey. Hunters go burr. What can we say? And it looks like Frank over here coming up on the short end of the stick when it comes to these auto attack trades.
Yeah, I know Frank isn't that big of a fighter. He likes to fight with his team. He likes to wait to fight on the 1v1s. So seeing him struggle here isn't that surprising, but I do know that he's trying his hardest and is going to win those 1v1s every once in a while.
Ultimate came out from Geb over here in the mid lane, unable to find a kill off of it. Bastet just a little off the mark as well, and the Thor comes down on top of Bastet, also just a little off the mark. Ultimates are getting fired off left and right here in mid lane, but nobody's able to really just lock down a kill. Oof. Both teams doing their best though.
Yes, both teams are working hard, and you can see that communication coming out from both sides of the teams, and lots of communication being had where they're able to try and synergize their ults here. But it does look like just missing the mark is going to be a bit rough for both teams here.
HDD on Poseidon over in the solo lane, able to get that first item online, starting to build into the defense. Now it starts to even things out over here in the solo lane, you would like to say, although there is a nice 2-level lead on this Sun Wukong already. 2-level lead in the jungle, 2-level lead in the solo lane, little even in the mid, even in support, and another level lead over in ADC. Bodega Hive is really coming out on top in this experience chart, and it looks like they're coming out on top so far in the gold chart as we see a 2K lead starting to build itself up.
Yeah, this is a little bit of what I was talking about earlier. I think Bodega is going to end up running house in this laning phase, but we do see Bastet rotating over again for this Poseidon and is going to secure that kill. Just keeping this Poseidon down off of cooldown, just not letting him really lane that much. And I think this is going to be a big goal of Bodega. They know they have that early pressure. Iza and Yanis really being their only early pressure gods, but with how they're playing, with how Bodega is playing, they're able to secure that early pressure and really try and battle it out before Death Dealers gets to that team fight stage. And we do see Hachi pick up that Thor over in duo lane with a failed gank, but we saw Iza's ult come out, and it looks like Frank is going to be able to escape with his life this time around.
Very good gank attempts coming out from Beastie on this Thor, but Louis looking at him with foam in his mouth, saying, "This is exactly what I want. Bring the fight to me. I want these picks." And we see a fight again over here in the solo lane.
And
Sun
Bastette's
Wukong, Ben
not too
Dizzle's
far.
really showing that you're a mage solo. We're gonna make sure that you realize you're a mage solo, and we're gonna apply a lot of pressure to you. Beats forced out by the Bastet ult, and it looks like Bodega Hive is wanting more. Force the Kraken out as well. And we might see a tier 1 tower go down in solo, and it looks like we will. Tier 1 tower falls at 11:45 minutes here in game number 1.
Oh, they are forcing Poseidon down and trying to get Ben ahead as much as possible. Most of that XP is going over to Bastet with that 4-0 stat line, but it's definitely helping out Ben's case here, being 3 levels ahead, and they're able to secure the beacon here over in mid. It's running a bit rough for Death Dealers here, but I definitely can see them bringing it back. Iza being able to secure that T1 over in duo side, although it does look like Bastet is peeking around, trying to get some vision on Iza.
First thing we can be certain of, you don't want the Poseidon getting ahead. You don't want him scaling, you don't want him getting late game. Second thing though, what you do want as Bodega Hive is getting this Bastet ahead. As we saw the Thor going in. Again, Bluey looking at him, foaming at the mouth. Please land on me. I'll use my relics if I have to. I'll use my ult if I have to, and I will make sure I get the kill. Teamfight is continuing. So close, just shy of hitting the Janus, but the kill is still secured by Bluey, getting the double kill. Chasing it down, looking at the third. Chasing down Frank right now. Bastet lead comes through, and Scooby-Doo ends up securing the pick. Ganesha now the target as 4 members of Bodega Hive are chasing him down under this tier 1 tower. It's not safe though. That tower's at 1 HP. Shell gets popped down by the Bodega Hive. They pop the tower as well, and they're in the chase down to Ganesha, who ended up dashing in, secure the kill. And now it looks like they're making their way over to the Gold Fury.
Oh, and we do see Poseidon low over here with Sunwoo popping his ultimate into the Somersault Cloud, having 2 of him chasing down Poseidon as he tries to escape into the jungle, but not sure if he's going to be safe yet. He doesn't have his Kraken, he doesn't have his relics, but it does look like Sunwoo's just going to secure his blue as HD is able to back out. And it looks like Bodega is able to secure the Gold Fury off of that as well, with only Thor really being up. Yanis just coming up himself, while Poseidon was over trying to defend his life from that Sun Wukong.
Bodega happily securing the Gold Fury, happily increasing these gold leads, happily increasing the XP leads. We see a 4-level lead over in solo lane, a 4-level lead over in the jungle, a 3-level lead over mid. And if they keep it up at this rate, I see it going even further. Bodega Hive is in the driver's seat right now, and they are showing no sign of slowing down.
Absolutely. And until Death Dealers is able to connect together as 5, I don't see this changing much often. Death Dealers has a very big team fight comp and is able to really fight well together, especially with that Ganesh, that Iza silence. But Bodega is just going to continue with these objectives, securing Pyro like they just did, securing Gold Fury, and possibly looking at an early Fire Giant call here. I would not be surprised as we take over to these levels over 15. We have 2 members of Bodega over at 15 here, but it looks like Iza's life is being threatened by that Sunwoo, who's now able to freely rotate around as much as he wants. But it looks like Frank is going to be able to save his own life and be able to back under that mid T2.
Bodega Hive thinking they caught Frank out, but Frank is able to escape with his life, and Bastet thinking she caught out Poseidon over here. As we see Jungle Jimmy just closing in on him. Ult comes out just shy of the Poseidon's trail, and the team of Bodega Hive is hot, coming in. Kraken comes out. Gabble comes out. Knocked up into the air. The Poseidon's down to 1 HP, unable to secure a kill, but falls himself. It looks like we're getting a little bit of a fight over here in the dual lane as well. Izanami just boxing this Sun Wukong clone. Janus ult comes through to group up with his teammates and hopefully defend this tier 2 tower from the onslaught coming in from Bodega Hive. They are just pressuring every lane right now, and you know, with an almost 10k lead, you can see exactly why. It's only 16 minutes into the game, and this team's really putting it up. I think Bodega Hive is just doing the things right. They're getting their pressure in their lane, and they're really utilizing that pressure, taking those objectives. Death Dealers, they need to regroup before they fall even more behind, get some ward vision down, and try to contest some of these objectives.
Absolutely. Wards are going to be Death Dealer's best friends here. Seeing those wards and seeing where these teams are rotating to is going to be their best friend and their best opportunity to succeed here. Um, Poseidon needs to start grouping with their team. I think right now he really needs to group and get together and really put out those Krakens with Ganesh, with Iza, with Yanis, and be able to fight as a team here. I think that will end up helping out significantly as we are being forced into this team fight time now that Bodega has that lead and are freely rotating. They are forcing Death Dealers into that team fight time of the game, and I think they're just going to try and raw dog it and win it here.
Yeah, we're seeing a couple interesting build paths, in my opinion, here. Seeing the cloak come out and hold that thought as we're maybe seeing a little bit of a fight here on the speed buff of Death Dealers. And it looks like they are just getting away with murder right now as they are collapsing on the members of Death Dealers. Bodega Hive is chasing it down in a rampage for Bluey on this Hachiman. Thorolds goes up in the air, but I don't know if you want to go into that mess. Lands back down in his Phoenix safe and returns to base. And Death Dealers, Bodega Hive is making their way over to this beacon. They're going to get second beacon online.
You know, I don't think I would want to beat Death Dealers in trying to contest this right now. I think Sunwoo is just a little bit too strong, but it does look like they are going to try and secure Primal Fury at the same time with 4 members there, but Yanis ult charging, but it isn't going to secure. It looks like Tech just wanted to help out Bodega Hive with securing that Primal Fury for themselves.
Oh, he had to have been so close. That
It
HP
had to
was
have
getting
been.
there.
It had to have been like a difference of an auto right there.
Great attempt by Tectonics with that
Yes.
fan assault as we see teams starting to regroup, and Death Dealers are really hoping to just get some farm online and get these levels so hopefully they can close this gap and contest the first Fire Giant.
It does look like Iza's finally going into some crit here as they're approaching this third item, but Blue already has several crit items on hand, so he's going to be running these team fights very heavily, having that Deathbringer and that Demon Blade online, but I'm hoping that Iza's able to compete in these team fights like how I know she can. Seeing Yanis on this Thieves and Prophetic is going to be a bit rough. I know Prophetic is not very easy to stack in the support role, but I'm hoping that Ganesh is able to secure it and get that stacked up as quickly as possible. But Get seems to be a bit behind in items, but it looks like he opted to level up his relics before purchasing the next item and already upgrading his starter before his 4th item there.
Now,
So-
supports tend to sit there and look at it as once I get 1 or 2 items online comfortably, you know, especially being your second being a upgraded item on top of that. Going
Yes.
into that breastplate, you're thinking, okay, let me get the relics online. That's where my use is going to be in with my teammate, and then realizing he can just get his starter upgrade right now. Probably gonna maybe get that second relic though, since he's already level 15, or maybe he just likes the cooldown shard. Who knows?
We did see Poseidon finally start to cook, so we do see that bountiful bow over on Poseidon, but it looks like Darth Dumbledore just isn't cooking today. He's letting the rest of Bodega Hive cook here.
Some of us have that innate chef ability, and some of us burn everything we look at. It just happens, you know, and maybe Darth Dumbledore is one of those burners. Who knows?
Hey, I know I am. I've set a pot of boiling water on fire, so I'm with you, Darth. Don't worry.
That takes some skill. Only required.
Some additional skill is catching that Sun Wukong in that portal coming down while Scooby is securing that kill on Thor here. But lots of low health bars on Bodega side. Darth Dumbledore, Sun Wu, they are low, but Sun Wukong is going to go into that Somersault Cloud to heal up that HP. But Blue isn't looking too good either. He is low here, and lots of healthiest health bars on Death Dealer's side as this fight continues just slightly. Ganesh going in, knocking up, but Thoth is low himself as Iza dashes in to try and get some of her autos out, but it looks like no other kills are going to be secured here, but that just shows that Death Dealers is going to be a presence in these fights as they begin to group and get these levels online. So getting this Iza up to level 16 and Poseidon up to 15, this is going to be a big deal for Death Dealers here as this farm begins to get very, very good into the hands of Death Dealers.
Yeah, I definitely feel with Death Dealers in that last fight. You're looking at the team of Bodega Hive, all low HPs across the board, still coming in, making their way back into these fights. And I'm thinking, man, we really just want to get our first kill here in 21 minutes into the game. And not to mention have them be some fantastic shutdowns, you know. We got a 5-0 Hachiman, a 6-0 Bastet, a 4-0 Thoth, who are all sitting up here at level 20, level 18. But the Bastet is saying, well, yeah, I'm level 20, but I will take this dual lane Phoenix. And what are you going to do about it, Frank? Frank says, absolutely nothing, ma'am. You be on your way. All right.
You be on your way. I got these minions.
Yeah, I'm just getting a little bit of XP over here. You know, I just wanted to watch and see what you were up to. Nothing. Just visiting an old friend.
But we do see this Fire Giant come out, and that shutdown coming down on Bluey for H. Diddy, pumping him up at least 2 levels, to level 17. Seeing that first kill is a great feeling and a revitalizing moment for Death Dealers here. They're now showing, hey, I'm here to fight. But we do see Sunwoo focusing this Poseidon here, knowing that his power is up, trying to get him down. And that ult coming out in that somersault cloud, trying to chase down Poseidon, who is 1 health. Is he gonna make it? Is he going to? I don't know yet. He is getting away very slowly while Sunwoo has only his eyes for Poseidon here. That bird coming out, that transform, and that one is going to come out and secure that kill on Poseidon, while Scooby is in the back getting that kill over onto Boomer. VC surviving just barely. The last one of Death Dealers coming down as Bodega comes through and cleans up. But we did see during that whole time Bastet in that shutdown as well.
Jungle Jimmy has been standing like a statue at the Death Dealer's middle Phoenix, just being a gatekeeper the entire time that the team was fighting at the Fire Giant pit, chasing down the side. The entire time, just getting pick after pick, standing there, not letting them leave the fountain. And he does get shut down, but he gets shut down by the Phoenix.
I was just realizing that as you were saying that, it's like there's no other kills for Death Dealers here. I was so focused on the Poseidon. Oh, that's... Oh. Jimmy, you can't go out that way. It does look like Bodega Hive is going to secure this Fire Giant here. That Yenisol coming through just barely too late. And unfortunately, / fortunately, Bodega Hive didn't secure it 4 seconds later for Bastet to be able to get that fire. But if they did, that Yen Assault may have come through and secured it in the side of Death Dealer. So we understand the urgency there. But it does look like Bodega is going to rotate over for this Oni Fury to try and get some additional pressure into their lanes.
Alright, Death Dealers, you know, I'm looking at it. It's nice that you're trying to contest these objectives, but the way you see it is this is basic FG still. You guys aren't down, you're not out. You can contest your lanes, you can contest your Phoenixes. Let them get that basic FG, push up these lanes, use that to get yourselves to where you need to be, because right now these builds just not matching up. A huge gold lead coming out from Bodega Hive. If you guys can close that gap, who knows? You might just very well turn the tables in one of these late game team fights.
Absolutely. And right now it's a base race for Bodega. They're trying to get their minions up and ready. We got Oni Fire minions running down left lane while they're trying to push onto this mid Phoenix. It's going to be a big pressure here for Bodega, trying to get into Death Dealer's Titan room here.
Oh, Bodega Hive is playing this just right. We say, why do we need to push in? Why do we need to throw away our lives right now? We got basic FG. We're not going to remove backdoor protection by just existing inside the Phoenix like we would hope we would. Let's just wait for Oni waves to come up, Oni Fire Wave to come up over in dual lane. Maybe it'll just take the Phoenix on its own and let these Titans just kind of walk themselves right in, and then we'll look for our push. Then we'll look to play this fight, and that's exactly what they're doing. Splitting a nice 4-1 over here as the jungle of Bodega Hive takes his way over to solo lane. The minions take their way over to the dual lane, end up securing the Phoenix, and 4 members of Bodega Hive are pushing into the mid lane as we speak. One last Oni wave coming out.
And Bastet's peeking that solo lane Phoenix, being a menace in solo lane already all throughout the game. as Scooby picks up that pick on Thor, and they are now entering that Phoenix room. Yana's getting beaten up by the Sunwoo, portaling away, but Sunwoo's going to turn around and try and help out the rest of his team as Blue secures the kill on Ganesha. Frank dashes away, trying to secure his life, but Bastet's going to secure his life instead with a leap as they enter into their Titan room, their own Titan backing up behind them. Poseidon's here trying to get it out, trying to get any sort of safety here as that Sunwoo clone comes out. But is this going to be enough for Death Dealers to save their Titan? Doesn't look like it. As the first win goes to Bodega.
Phenomenal game one pressure from Bodega Hive. Death Dealers were a little bit off during that landing phase, and hopefully you're going to bring it back in game two. The way you look at it on these player damage charts, though, you just see the entirety of Bodega Hive together. Outside of Darth Dumbledore on this Geb, but I mean, come on, it's a Geb. You know, he's applying so much utilities for his team. He's the setup that this man is putting in for his team right now with these knockups and these ultimates. He's always looking for those cataclysms on the enemy team, whether there's follow-up or not. He's just sitting there ready for it at all times. That's what you want to see coming out of your support. And then your damage dealers are just sitting back going, okay, cool. Let me just throw a Thothult from Scooby-Doo, and look what he does. Hits the Thor. What is that? Once, twice? How many times did that man just delete Beastie's health bar with a Thor ult? Bluey just taking his 1v1s, getting his poke. Ben Dizzle and Jungle Jimmy just roaming around the sides, doing exactly whatever they wanted. This team from the Bodega Hive was able to just get away with murder.
Absolutely. And seeing stat lines 4-0, 10-1, 6-1, even Darth Dumbledore 0-11, those are very impressive numbers. And not to leave Scooby out 6-0-6. I know he's going to come at me later.
No, leave him
out. But seeing those stat lines, you can see that it was a roll away to Bodega Hive here. So I'm hoping Death Dealers is able to secure a stronger laning phase next game. But we will see that next game in a few minutes. We'll be right back. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Frank's Retirement Home, Death Dealers versus Bodega Hive, Walker Division. We saw Bodega Hive take game one and was a menace in the map. What was your feeling, Zach?
I think Bodega Hive came out and did exactly what we expected, okay? They saw this mage solo coming out from Death Dealers, and they were like, okay, we're going to shove it down your throat, okay? They looked over at their dual lane comp, and they're like, okay, well, you want to clear the wave? Well, we kind of want to just box you. And they let mid just chill. You know, get to late game, get your farm. You're fine. You'll come into the game a little bit later when we decide to start grouping up, and well, they just pressured the side lanes, collapsed on the map, took objectives back to back, and they really showed Death Dealers what they were ready for.
Absolutely. And seeing that mage solo go down so much was a pain in my heart. I'm a mage solo laner whenever I do get stuck in solo. So I know the pain of what H. Diddy was feeling, but not to knock on all of what Bluey was doing over in duo. Bluey was running house in Frank's face, ready to box, ready to fight at any moment whenever he was in lane, and was ready to take down Frank and take down the owner of this league as much as he could.
For sure. I think Death Dealers need to take a step back, look at their draft, and say, okay, coming into this game too, what do we need? What do we want to do? Where do we want to pressure? Because it felt like there was that kind of lack of cohesion in game number one, where they weren't exactly certain on what they wanted to do. We picked some good picks over here. We picked a pretty solid, so to speak, pressure pick over there, but we didn't really play to our strengths. We didn't group work as a team, as we saw Bodega Hive moving around with their jungler, applying pressure to the lanes where their strengths were. Let's see that out of the Death Dealers. Let's use our strength with that global load to the Thor that we had and apply the pressure to these lanes, push our lanes where we can get our leads, and try to win 2/3 of the map.
Absolutely. And I think Bodega was really smart in how they played it. They knew they had to get the solo laner behind. They knew Ben, once he was able to rotate, he was going to be a menace wherever he went. He was going to get on these squishies, going to get into their back line, and was able to run house. So, heading into picks and bans, we did swap sides. Bodega is over on the left-hand side, over on Order, and we are seeing Death Dealers over on the right-hand side on Chaos. Chernobog and Geb being the first ones banned. I'm surprised Geb was the early one there. I would have assumed Sunwoo.
Sun Wukong was a very safe pick, but kind of the way I looked at it right away when they picked the Sun Wukong first, I was like, okay, I want to play safe in solo lane. As soon as Bodega Hive, I'm sorry, as soon as Death Dealer's locked in that Poseidon over there in the solo lane, now that completely changed that pick. Now I'm playing
Mhm.
super aggressive and shoving it down his throat. So I will contribute that to the Sun Wukong having that ability, but you're looking warrior and a mage.
Fair.
When I see
That is
that
fair.
Geb moving around the map, cataclysm after cataclysm, knockup after knockup, applying the shields to his team, nobody dying for how long in the game? 0 kills
Mhm.
across the board for minutes upon minutes. I think we do have that Geb support to contribute to some of that, and we do see a couple picks rounding out here, a
Mhm.
couple bands rounding out. The Athena, the Izanami, no surprise from the Izanami, high clear potential from that character. We do see the Oleron band again, and Freya gets locked in first pick. These mage ADCs, you think you were saying it was a little bit more of a in the god pool of our ADC over here with Bluey?
Yes, Bluey is known as the Freya one trick of the Walker division. So seeing him on Freya, I imagine dueling isn't going to be very safe. He's very strong in his team fights and very strong in lane. Um, Maman Brigitte being picked up on Death Dealer side, I don't know where this god is going. I know Death Dealers very well. Three of the admins being over there, and I've heard many talks of, and I went up against a Maman Brigitte support week one. So this Maman could be going solo, it could be going mid, it could be going support, it could be going jungle. I do know it is not going ADC. Frank would not touch that god with a 10-foot pole. So it does look like he is going to be picking up the X ball over here in ADC, along with a Marty and a Charon for Bodega.
I'm interested to see the Maman Brigitte, and I say
Mhm.
that because all of week 2 so far and all of week 1, that god was being top pick, top banned. We didn't see it at all in game 1. No picks, no
Mhm.
bans, nothing. It just made its way all the way through and didn't even get looked at. And then Death Dealers are deciding, okay, we're going to lock that in right here. X Ball getting picked up too. You have that Darkest of Nights. You just turn off the lights for everybody in a team fight and let's see how well your team fight does. You know, Over here on the Bodega Hive side, though, we see the Martichorus, who saw a little bit of nerfs not too long ago, kind of fell out of
Mhm.
favor as a result, but he still is that kind of ability bursting ADC character that you want, especially if you're going to be throwing that over in the mid lane and giving your one trick his time to shine, so we say. Karen
Exactly.
getting locked in. Again, another pick that on release, I saw so much potential with this god, and Karen showed it. Having that attack speed reduction, having that massive just AoE kind of global fear coming across a team fight.
Mhm.
A lot of with that god, and we see the Raijin get locked in over on the side of Death Healers to round out their final picks, and teams are just flying through these bans. There's the Thanatos Ratatasker getting banned out on the side of the Death Dealers again. I guess they just do not want anything to do with those two picks. And Bodega Hive deciding that Ganesha and Sun Wukong eliminating some safety from both the solo lane and the support for Death Dealers is going to be where they're going to be able to apply pressure.
Absolutely. And as you were talking, I realized something. X-Ball is also a Tectonics pick. Tech is also a mid ADC. So we might be seeing X-Ball going somewhere other than ADC and duo lane. So it'll be interesting to see. But we do see Ymir, who I'm hoping is going to Jungle Scrub Boomer for support. And we are seeing All Posh and Ravana being picked up over on the Bodega side. Ben is a very big All Posh player, so that will be very strong with his huge ultimate that will be in lane and the amount of healing that he'll have by eating up his bodies. And Ravana, everyone knows Ravana is going to run house whatever lobby he's in, no matter what the skill level is that you're playing him. Ravana is just a bit too unbalanced, in my opinion, right now. So
Unbalanced.
I, I am a Ravana hater.
Warrior
But
gone jungler. Maman Brigitte, the way I look at that god's kit is, she's got a lot of big burst kind of
mhm,
removal, that huge ultimate that's an instant knockup. You know, you kind of play her kind of like the Morgan Le Fay. If somebody's coming on top of you, what do? You just, press your 2 button, knock people away. Mama and Brigitte kind of same thing. Somebody's getting on top of you, what do? Slam that ultimate, knock them up in the air, blow them up. Ravana kind of negates that for both of those picks a lot. I'm going to come and slam on top of you with my ultimate. You're taking increased damage. And then as soon as you go to throw that ultimate at me, well, I'm just going to immune it. And get movement speed and close the gap and deal damage to you. And then I'm going to root you in place. And then I'm going to slow you. And then, yeah. So definitely a fantastic pick, I think, into these mage combos, being able to deal more damage to them and just negate their kits overall. And we do see a Bologna rounding out the draft from the Death Dealers. I'm assuming they're looking over at the double ADC comp from the Bodega Hive and saying, okay, you know what? No auto attacks. We're turning those off.
Right, absolutely. And I'm actually a little bit happy to see Bologna. Bologna does not get a lot of love right now in this meta, and I feel like she needs some more love. I feel like going into like these mage solos and into these double ADC comps that I've been building, Bologna is kind of awesome right now. I love her.
The way I look at Bologna, I think she kind of fell out of favor for a while, a long while, and shows up on niche occasions. Maybe somebody just decides to throw her in the jungle. Maybe someone decides to throw her over in the ADC. Maybe she does find her way back to the solo lane, but it's always a very unique, I will say, with air quotes that you can't see, unique build style every time. Yes. So I'm kind of hoping to see a little bit of a unique build style coming out here. Assuming she's going into this Alpwash over in the solo lane, how can she not match the clear of the Alpwash, but match it enough to where she can apply pressure to him, get on top of him, and really force him out? Maybe seeing things like the Golden Blade Berserker Shield build coming out, where she's going to insta-clear wave with Bludgeon and then just be on top of you, slowing you down, being an absolute nuisance.
Well, as these trades come out, I don't know if we're switching roles for Death Dealers here, but I'm seeing this Boomer on Mammon. And Boomer was the support last game. But we are seeing BC on Ymir. So I don't know if we're having role switches or if we're about to see a Ymir jungle and a Mammon support, or if trades didn't happen and low res is happening. So and I'm assuming we are hitting a high spectate delay. So as we head into this game, we are going to switch to a BRB as we catch up. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Game 2 of Bodega Hive versus Death Dealers. So, we're had a little bit of spectator delay happen, so went through to our BRB screen, but welcome back as we are seeing these teams go ahead and fight out for their buffs. Lots of low health bars right away over on the side of Bodega. This Freya and this Alpwash are already getting quite low.
It looks like teams were taking a little bit too much damage from this poke. We saw Bodega Hive over here. It looks like they're pulling all 3 camps at once from the dual lane side. Health bars going down a little bit. I'm sure they're just trying to clear as much as they can at once with some of these AoE abilities, but hopefully not going to take too much. Team's kind of doing some pretty standard stuff, and though we do see Jungle Jimmy over here wanting to invade that solo lane and get a gank off again. See if he's going to get successful, as the roles have swapped on the side of the solo lanes. We do have the mage solo lane over on the side of Bodega with Alpwash, and this Bologna on the side of the Death Dealers. Interesting, she did decide to go for the Tainted into just kind of the Kusaria build, and she is forced into backing right away and then getting that teleport on cooldown. That's not going to be good if this Ravana does decide to keep applying pressure over there. I think Bodega Hive sees this as their win condition.
Absolutely. They definitely are favoring solo lane. Ravana's staying in solo until Bologna teleports back in and is re-ganking her, trying to get her low again, trying to get her out of this lane and not getting any farm at all. Alpwash just being an absolute menace here, along with Ravana. Chunking her health bar down as far as possible as they secure that shield buff over there for them. But Mammon Brigitte, we did see a role swap. It looks like Boomer is now going into that jungle role, while Beastie is the Ymir over in support. And we're seeing Mammon trying to do an early duo lane gank, but did not get anything out of it, as his Raijin's health bar is also low over in this mid lane. Raijin being played in the mid this time around. A little bit different than normal as Jungle Extreme it secures Tectonic's life over on this Raijin.
Tectonics decided Aegis instead of Beat, but it seems like neither option was going to get him out of that situation as he finds himself wrapped by Jungle Jimmy. Good spacing there, waiting for that Raijin's dash to come out so that he, A, doesn't get stunned, and B, can secure the kill. That is first blood going the way of Bodega Hive, as we see Jungle Jimmy saying he wants more. Still very healthy, lots of mana, lots of pressure here in the solo lane. We're going to invade your blue buff again.
Ooh, that has to hurt. That second blue buff, not being allowed to get to that Bellona, as Ravana is just already being wherever he wants to go and doing whatever he wants to do. But we do see that level lead over on the Raijin here, over in mid lane already, and that early ult can be very good, but it does look like Marty is going to catch up very quickly and get his own ult online, as it looks like Maman trying to get into this Freya, getting her health bar down low as Boomer is able to secure a kill here, but his own life is on the edge as he's able to get out, but X-Ball and Ymir are not going to let Charon go that easily, chunking his health bar down to a quarter health bar.
I like this from Death Dealers. Okay, so you lost the first blood. That's unfortunate. But you decided, all right, cool, they're going to go over there and pressure solo lane. Let's go and pressure the duo lane. Now, last game, they didn't do it as much. They came over for the first shield buff, and then they kind of went about their business once they realized that they weren't going to get anything over here. This time, Jungle Scrub over here on this Maman Burjette decided to come back over, invade this first purple buff, be successful, and then Bluey, thinking a little bit cocky from the last game maybe, keeping his head a little too high, deciding to come in for the fight afterwards, ends up finding himself on the short end of the stick and losing his life as a result. That's going to help this Maman Burjette get a little bit caught up to this first blood from the Ravana, and maybe catching them, getting her into late game and allowing her to scale.
Absolutely, and we are seeing X-Ball tick over to 5, so he is going to have this ultimate that's going to help out so much. Especially with being blinded going into a Raijin ult or a Bellona ult is deathly. It's going to hurt so much, and Freya only having her whoop here really as a form of escape and still pressuring up to fight is not going to be very good, but we do see Ravana coming over here and trying to break down Frank, and that Ravana ultimate coming down but missing, and X-Ball possibly escaping with a third of his life, but nope, Jungle Extreme is going to secure it with the help of Freya, as Partial is coming out, but it isn't going to be enough to secure his own life as Maman Burjette takes down Ben Dizzle for his first death in this set.
Let's return to neutral on both ends of the map, why don't we? As we see Jungle's pressuring one side, going to the other. Okay, well, you know what? Let's swap sides. You go and pressure solo this time? I'll go and pressure dual lane this time, all right? Maybe they'll do it again in the next one. We're going to find out.
Absolutely. And the only goal difference right now is only because of that first blood. So we're seeing both teams farm up as effectively and as well as each other as these kills are coming online, as well as X-Ball is able to leave with 2 bars of his health, but doesn't know Ravana is right behind him, ready to go as soon as he tries to back. But is he going to try and ult in? Freya is going to hold the wave just a little bit to try and bait out X-Ball and whoop him up, but as X-Ball tries to run away, Ravana's there to meet him and is going to get his punch out to try and get him out and secure the kill on Frank.
Good pickup by Jimmy. Very patient, waiting back there, but that patience unfortunately came at a cost as Jungle Scrub was able to get that level back and a level lead. And it looks like they're not going to opt for the invade off of it. Maybe they just don't know the timer, but was it worth it at the end of the day in terms of your value getting that pick over there? Sure, your Freya's, you know, maybe doing a little bit better in the lane, but is she doing a whole lot better?
Right. As we know, Blue is a one-trick Freya. Not gonna sugarcoat it, he is. So if he does get ahead, he is known to run house. So they may be trying to push on that, but at the same time, you have your Alpasha over here who is even in lane. You have your mid lane who is even in lane. You could help try and get your power spikes over there, but instead they're focusing on duo lane. So it's a bit of an interesting play here. And as we see these supports come into this mid lane and really help out, we're seeing Maman focus on left lane, it looks like, and Ravana focusing on right lane here. So it's going to be interesting.
Okay, you say it's going to be interesting, but we
Mhm.
need to talk.
Oh, boy.
Frank from accounting, my buddy, and he picked up teleport.
Oh, do you not know the Frank special? This is what Frank is known for. He is known for his teleport. He is
My
known.
boy picked up the other blue round relic, and he's getting forced back into base by Bluey on this Freya, already showing what kind of damage this character can do. The huge ultimate coming out over in the soul lane by Jungle X Jimmy over top of the Ravana, but Milan Burjet, Jungle Scrub is ready for the follow-up, maybe trying to get a pick and return. Abilities off the mark because she is inside of you. What can you do about that? Both teams kind of walking away, but coming up on the short end, that's yours.
Yeah, it looks like they were just able to secure that kill over on Ymir, which honestly, of all the players you want to die, you want it to be your support. I hate to say it's support players, but of all the players you want to die, you want it to be your support.
So, as Jungle Jimmy over here gets a successful invade off on the... So you mean to tell me that Frank over here not only gets teleport, but opts to push off his first stacking item.
Yep.
And upgrade it all the way?
Yep. That's the Frank special along with split pushing. Frank loves his TP. He is a great ADC when he has TP. I think every game I have seen him play without TP, he has lost.
Well,
That's not to say that he's won every game with PT. But Frank is just very big in his global pressure and being able to put out his damage early on versus his other ADC members. So that's why he also likes gods like Chernobog and Apollo. So having that global pressure for him is huge, and he's able to support his team any which way.
I like it. I'm here for the spicy, and I'm hoping it pays off. And you know, with these rotations coming out from Jungle Scrub, maybe it just might, catching him back up just ever so slightly, almost getting caught back up in level. And then Ravana just coming in over the top as she was realizing that the buff timer was already a little bit down. All right, forcing up the Ravana ult and just getting away with her life. And we see a little bit of a fight over here in mid lane. Egg is popped by Origin Tectonics, and he still ends up falling to Darth Dumbledore on the Charon.
And Maman is still running away.
Are running it. Darth Dumbledore gets a double kill, running it down. Ymir saying, okay, you know what, please don't make it a triple, gets away.
Maman was running away that whole entire time on like 10 health. She was running as fast as she could from that Ravana, and that has to be a big feel bad for Jimmy for his kill to get stolen away after he was chasing it that long by a Charon wave.
Out of the oven and into the frying pan as he meets the Charon ultimate wave of death.
And I have to say, this is what also Darth Dumbledore is known for. I believe it was last quarters he was able to secure 2 kills as well with his ultimate, and was just ulting Charon ults all across the map trying to secure kills. So having that global pressure there and that type of pressure there is awesome for Darth Dumbledore to have, and see him act on it is great.
Secure kills. Support mains, remember that word, secure, okay? Now, when they're saying KS, that is exactly what they mean. Don't forget it.
Kill secure, don't worry.
Kill secure, absolutely.
But don't worry, we still want the supports to die, as I mentioned earlier.
Jungle Scrub rotating on in. It looks like both Jungle X Jimmy rotating in as well. And it looks like you're staying a little bit too long without a tier 1 tower to fall back to, as Bluey secures the kill on Jungle Scrub. And it looks like they are wanting more. Ravana and Freya both chasing down this X4. Get it a little bit caught out. A little bit too far up without E-safety, and ends up falling as well. 2 kills going the way of Jungle Jimmy and Bluey.
Absolutely. It looked like they had eyes straight for Maman. They knew if they didn't get her out early into that fight, Maman was going to turn around that fight and get away again. So having that eye for it is apparent, because Ravana was ready. Was ready to fight her and get that kill that he earned last time.
For sure. The way you look at it, I'm sure from the side of Bodega Hive is okay, you know, who's gonna deal a little bit more damage to us? The full Doom Orb level 12 Mammon Verjet or the level 9 X-Ball with 7 stacks on his trans because he I love the teleport. I won't harp on it. But you got the item on a little late and you lost your tower.
It's okay. It's okay. It's the
Happy
Frank
balance,
special.
happy balance, absolutely.
It's the Frank special. As we see Maman come over here for this all Pasha and just deletes him along with Bologna, and seeing that punishment go on to Ben for what happened last game. We
Good
see
teamwork.
Boomer. Yeah, great
Clean.
teamwork.
Clean. That was a clean gank.
That really was. That was a professional style gank there. I believe Bologna also used her ult to stun him, and end the fire was that double stun. That was really good.
Team's kind of doing a little bit of return to farming as we're getting some items online. Oh, we're starting to approach a 5k lead over here for the Bodega Hive without any objectives getting taken.
Yeah. Yeah, no objectives taken yet, except for Beacon, I believe, was taken recently, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know timers don't lie. It's okay.
I have faith.
I don't have faith in Frank's life, though, as Bluey does secure that kill, as Maman is able to dodge every one of the ultimate hits, but not all of the range autos, as Bluey is able to get a double kill here over on Maman and Frank. I'd rather see Maman over in solo again. Honestly, I think right now this Freya just is going to end up running house. I don't think there's a point to try and shut down her at this rate with how much damage she's putting out.
You know what they say when you give somebody their one trick. Karenol's coming out, ripping through, but a little off the mark. Shell gets popped on the side of Bodega Hive, and it looks like they want the tower, and it looks like they will get the tower. Bodega Hive just getting exactly what they want and making their way out, securing some of this neutral jungle farm, and possibly looking towards the Gold Fury. We got some aggressive war division coming out from Bodega Hive in this dual side jungle already. Should see a nice push over here relatively soon.
At 14 minutes with no T1s left on the side of Death Dealers, that's a little bit of a feels bad. But that also means that Bodega has to go so much further for their farm that they may have shot themselves in the foot a little bit. I can understand T1 being taken this early, but all three being down is just pushing their farm so much higher that they'll have to commit so much more to get to it. Now, if they're able to fight and lane for that farm and be able to come out on top like they have been the past few times, then it's understandable. But now they're having to commit every single time for the farm to a fight. But it doesn't look like that's going to be much of a problem as Dark Dumbledore gets another kill on Maman.
No, I definitely agree with the going a little bit far from Bodega Hive's farm, but I think the problem is Death Dealers aren't really holding the farm back. They're kind of just sending it back into them, and well, Bodega Hive is like, well, if you're just going to give it right back to us, then I guess we'll just push our lead.
That's fair. That is fair. And, you know, that may be something to note for Death Dealers is that they are also way behind in farm. They need to get their levels up. We see 16 to 12 Freya to X-Ball over in the duo lane, and that's got to be rough. That has to be hard to fight into for Frank, as Freya is on his T2 line. And it does look like there was a pause in the middle of the Ymir ult, it looked like, but it may have just been a lag as we can come right back into it. That Ymir freeze was extra frozen there. He froze the time.
Shut down on Darth Dumbledore on this Karen, and shut down over here on Scooby-Doo as well. Players falling across the map because it looks like Bodega Hive might be biting off a little more than they can chew with these standing up here at the enemy team's speed buff, at the enemy team's tier 2 tower lines, diving the tier 2 towers. Guys, it's 16 minutes. Play your objectives, get your farm online, and push your lead. And, you know, maybe you'll have another game like you did in game 1, but if you're going to sit here and dive into these towers and just give free kills over the Death Dealers, allowing them to just catch up, well, they're going to do just that. They're going to catch up.
Yeah, we are seeing that 8k, 7.5k, 8k gold lead in favor of Bodega, which is going to get even pushed further due to that Gold Fury. But it's gonna end up becoming even if they continue to let Death Dealers push so far forward in solo lane and probably put this pressure into mid lane as well. To make note of it, Tech hasn't been losing lane in mid. Like, he's 0-3, but Marty is also 0-1. It's mostly due to this Ravana pulls or Charon at this point being 3-1 on Charon. But one-on-one, Tech has been holding his own over in mid. So we may end up seeing Death Dealers close out this gold lead fairly quickly if Bodega continues doing what they have been doing.
They're all not too far behind them when you look at it. You know, you're 15 to 16 in the solo lane. You're 15 to 17 over in the jungle. 15 to 16 was just 15 to 15 a level there over in the mid lane. And a little bit of a gap over in the dual lane side of things, but you know, across the map, 3 out of 5 lanes, not doing bad. They can easily just get a good fight over here and turn the tables rather quickly. As we see, trapped in here by a fantastic Ymir wall, and then a freeze on top of it. Bluey ends up picking up a solo kill over on the other side, but you got a tanky outwash here. He's not going to be bothered too much by this, as Death Dealers are on the back foot right now, getting themselves out of here as Bodega Hive is just marching through their jungle looking for these players. Getting wrapped up by this Bologna, though, coming in behind his H Diddy. Just trying to get some poke off, or maybe they just lock down the outwash inside their speed buff as we see 3 members collapsing over on the outwash, but the outwash is saying, okay, let's go. This is what I want. Bologna finally making her way on over to it, and they trapped in here. Shell comes out from Darth Dumbledore. And it looks like this outwash is surviving without a doubt.
You know, with Alposh's heals and everything that he gets just from eating his bodies, he could do damage by throwing them and then pick them up and eat them. Like, he's not dying anytime soon. Now, what we did miss was a Marty versus Maman Brigitte fight over at the T2, and Maman left with like a sliver of health. So Marty was putting up quite a big fight as they now are entering that T2, and Death Dealers is doing all that they can to defend it. They're like, hey, listen, you got our T1s, you got that. Give us our T2s. Let us have our T2s. Let us have our secure. But Bodega's like, nah, I'm hungry for some towers. Give me some towers here.
We do not want these tier 2 towers fall, and prior to the 20-minute mark, and it looks like 1, maybe even 2 are about to do just that. As they do, 2 towers going down for Bodega Hive. Death Dealers losing those 2 tier 2 towers. That's a huge gold spike. This game's brought all the way to 10k. Pyromancer getting pulled in.
Pyromancer securing a kill on to Jungle X Shimmy.
Yep. That one, that happened. PvE deaths going the way.
I think that was 2 games in a row that Jungle Jimmy lost to either Phoenix or Pyro. So
Alposh ends up falling. And it looks like Death Dealers are in the driver's seat in this fight right now as they are chasing down the members of Bodega Hive. 1 HP on this Karen, but it looks like the Freya has showed up. Bluey, level 20 on this pick, is ready for the fight. Dealing damage across the board, half health on this Maman Brigitte. It looks like Darth Dumbledore's not finished as he is applying as much utility as he can. Freya gets away with the Ray. Darth Dumbledore's dashing away, but not dashing away fast enough. Bluey ends up getting shut down on top of it, and it looks like Death Dealers are marching through this tier 2 tower.
We do see Ravana in the backline on a 1 health Bologna as he secures it, and Scooby is going to pick up Ben. Who was it? That was BC McGrizzle as Maman secures. I believe it was Scooby. There was so much happening there, but that ended up being a 3 for 4 in favor of Bodega as Jungle Jimmy was coming up from his Pyromancer death and was just turning around the fight being like, you guys aren't touching my team here. I did not approve this. Let me shut you guys down real quick. Frank being the only survivor to come out on top from Death Dealers from that fight.
You're shutting down members of Bodega Hive across the board. I'm pretty sure the only one who could possibly be on a kill streak right now is Jungle X Jimmy. You know, is it worth it? Absolutely. Is it worth it to go that far? You know, we gotta weigh our options here on okay, maybe they're pressured out a little bit. Let's go in, maybe get the Gold Fury that's sitting up, clear their jungle farm that's all up.
Or
But
maybe
I do love
get
the
their
confidence.
T1 before going into their T2.
Nah, the technicalities.
I would say that I don't think fighting underneath a T2 was the smartest decision. But overall, I know that feeling of, hey, we're shutting down this team. We're getting it down. Let's go in and fight. We got this.
They did close the gap or so slightly, about 1 to 2k, but it looks like it's making its way right on back as the Bodega Hive was able to secure away the Gold Fury. And it looks like the beacon, as they are all in place ready for its spawn. Death Dealers are sitting 5 strong around this Fire Giant, not realizing that the only member over here is this Ravana.
Yeah, it does
not
look
for long.
It does look like Bodega Hive is not going to let Death Dealers get this Fire Giant for free, or even try and put wards around it for free, as we saw a little bit of tussle between Ravana and Bologna poke out, but it does look like Death Dealers is collapsing onto this All Posh over in the mid lane, possibly trying to pressure him out as 5 to make sure that they can fight for this Fire Giant here. And this is what I was talking about before game 1. Death Dealers has a very strong team fight comp just because of their synergy together as friends and as all fans they put together. If they're grouping as 5, they can. But we do see that Ben Dizzle do secure that kill onto Lamont Burgett, Boomer, and we did see Bologna fall as well.
The power of friendship worked for Yugi and Yu-Gi-Oh, but it's not working for the Death Dealers as 5 members of Bodega Hive just marching through the jungle, picking apart their team and making their way to the Fire Giant as the Titans, they're making their way down the dual lane.
Yes, it does look like we're seeing the secondary Frank special of split pushing. Frank is notorious for when their enemy team is on Fire Giant, he's at their Phoenix. So it looks like he may be a little bit behind, but was trying to get their Titan up, ready to fight and ready to go as Bodega Hive is securing this Fire Giant. But it looks like Tech may be caught out at the T1 line of Bodega as Marty has eyes just for him, ready to go and being like, hey, I'm hungry. I'm looking for a Raijin snack.
Raijin not opting to... Oh, well, that's not his tier 2 tower. Never mind. He is finding himself very caught out there.
Yeah, that's not his T2.
Oh, yeah, you're on the wrong end of the map, buddy, as he falls down. Frank over here in the duo lane does end up taking out the enemy's Titan in a heated 1v1 battle. Starting to realize that the Titan does a little bit of damage. He's able to push that down, get some farm online. That's going to be very good for him to help build up a little bit back and allow him to defend, but he's going to have to come back and defend because the Phoenix ended up falling down.
Absolutely. That Phoenix over on solo lane was able to fall down to Bodega Hive, but it looks like Marty and All Posh are going to be here trying to defend this Titan, trying to defend their T2, not wanting Death Dealers to have any sort of lane presence in any of the lanes here, being able to secure that kill on that Titan with about 3/4 health left on that T2 tower. But overall, it looks like Death Dealers are just trying to find a spot to be able to position and be able to hold some pressure. They know they can have it where they need it, but they aren't sure where to put it. So I think having that return pressure solidified, hopefully over in a duo lane with both T2s up over there, would be the smartest plan for Death Dealers to go through right now.
You're losing a Phoenix. Yes, you don't really want to lose any, but you know, losing the solo side Phoenix might be one of the better options. Although for this dual lane push that's coming out of the Bodega Hive right now, it's going to split up the focus of Death Healers. The promising thing though is that, you know, come next Fire Giant in 2.5, 3 minutes, you're going to be able to defend this solo lane while pushing the waves and defending the Fire Giant at the same time. But during this whole time right now, Bodega Hive is using his Fire Giant to extend their lead, clear up the farms, clear up some towers, get this Gold Fury on top of it, you know? And that's just going to further increase their damage, further increase their pressure as they back and get some items online, or just continue the onslaught.
We are seeing a 17k gold difference in favor of Bodega Hive. And it's just because of how many Gold Furies they've been getting. But Death Dealers has been getting the shutdown golds as often as they could. So Bodega just being able to secure these objectives is really helping out their favor and being able to round out their builds as they're hitting 20. We see 4 members of Bodega Hive now at 20 now, with only Frank on the side of Death Dealers being 20. So as they're beginning to round out their builds, this gold is just going to help out as much as possible.
4v5 here coming into Phoenix. Push soon to be followed by Blink. Freeze comes out from the Ymir. Very successful, but very unfortunate because it's not a lot of follow-up as he's getting his health shredded. Watch finding himself in between 5 members, ends up dropping the ult, getting away, and jungle scrub on this Mammon for Jet, just having his health bars removed. Mid lane Phoenix goes down to our Ravana and Marty Chorus. And now the dual lane Phoenix is the target with 2 low health members inside here. Ravana blinking on in, and Raijin getting up in the ultimate, but just not fast enough, not able to get that damage off, not dealing enough. Raijin ends up falling, Ymir ends up falling, this dual lane Phoenix ends up falling. And Bodega Hive is marching into the Titan room for the 2nd time in this set, looking to put it away.
I'm not sure if Bologna and Exwall are going to be able to secure this, but it does look like they are going to let it go without a fight. Frank hanging out in tower, throwing out his autos where he can. It looks like neither of them have their ultimate up to try and help fight back. Well, it looks like just about the same on Bodega's side. No ultimates up to really push this fight, but it looks like Bodega isn't going to back out too often as members of Death Dealers are beginning to come up. 2 seconds left on 2 of their members, and then it will be a pure 5v5 if there are no picks pulled out right now. Ymir Wall blocking off the members. Ben Dizzle falling down to HD Tech, picking up Jungle X Jimmy as health bars for Bodega Hive are getting lower and lower. Lamar Jet fighting into this Marty Chorus as he eats many of the toxic shots from Marty. Marty being able to secure that kill over on Mammon. Heron being a low health bar, but Ymir Wall blocking him off from running away as the Marty beats come out, and Marty is able to trot along and leap away as he meets up with his full health Freya, who is there to help defend as Death Dealers backs up and heads back to ease the minions in their Titan.
Standing inside the Titan, Death feels a little confident, but one thing was certain is they lacked the Freya. They lacked that high single target DPS late game damage, and without that, I didn't think they really had too many options in terms of taking the Titan, but yet they kept at it and they made an attempt, and well, Death Dealers showed that they weren't ready to give it up.
And we also see Bodega, even 30 minutes in, stealing Bologna's blue buff.
It's a statement. It really is.
It really is. He's just asserting dominance there. Just picking up that, dropping that blue buff, so Bologna can't get it, even though she's all the way in dual lane. Clearing up those fire minions, as that's the best that Death Dealers can really do right now. They're not at a position where they can really leave their Titan room beyond, or really beyond where their T2 towers would have been standing until their Phoenixes are back up and running. But we do see that solo lane Phoenix back up and half health. So possibly a good sign as HDD and Tectonics both secure kills of Bodega on Posh, Jungle Shimmy, and Bluey as Frank secures his 2nd kill of the game over. In that fight, they're showing up that they're ready to fight now.
That's what we needed. We needed these members from Death Dealers to get some items online, get some levels online, get up to level 20. Because now it's late game. Anyone can win these team fights once you start getting into this late game. Everybody has items kind of thing, and the only thing that Bodega Hive really has over Death Dealers, you know, maybe a couple sold recipes. Death Dealers end up securing.
Please secure it!
Enhanced Fire Giant going the way of Death Dealers. It's about to turn pressure as Raijin's sitting back in base, hoping to clear out some of these minion waves. We might see some spicy plays coming out from Bodega Hive, realizing, okay, well, we can't allow them to catch back up any further.
Can't let them catch up, but Death Dealers need to realize they need to defend their Titan. Their Titan is half health, so they still can't push up too far unless they get a full deicide on the side of Bodega. But it looks like Bodega isn't going to really try and return push into that Titan room. It looks like they're going to secure this beacon, secure this Oni wave, put up as much power as they can, possibly get a wave or 2 of Oni fire waves if they're able to secure this fast enough. It looks like they may have just missed the mark for only fire waves, but all three Phoenixes are up on Death Dealer side. They just need to defend them now, help them get some health and get their Titan health back up. And then Death Dealers could have a real shot in this game.
No more fire waves coming in from Bodega Hive, but we do have some Oni waves coming through in a couple of weakened Phoenixes, but they are fighting into enhanced Fire Giant. Now this is going to give a lot of power, a lot of penetration over on the side of the Death Dealers. A little bit of sustain too. This could be a very interesting fight as we see coming into the 32-minute mark.
Coming into this, I'm so happy Death Dealers recognized they could not let Bodega Hive get this enhanced fire. They couldn't let them get it, and they got all 5 of their members getting enhanced fire. That's something that is just a privilege that I don't think they realized that they were able to secure. You see this Charon ult followed up by an ult partial, that fear pulling them into these UFOs. As Bluey falls down to the Maman Bridget, that power is just too strong. That Marty ult coming down, but not securing too much damage there as Bologna's shield comes out and is going for that Marty. Those speeds come out as Jungle Scrub secures that kill on Darth Dumbledore.
Death Dealers are hot on the chase. Look for more, and a beautiful wall coming out from Beastie and Grizzle. Ends up trapping this Marty Chorus.
Triple kill!
Coming out from Jumbo Scrub, and they have eyes on this Opwash. They know exactly where they is. They are marching down this dual lane, 5 strong, very healthy as well. Looks like they're gonna hold off a little bit. They do have enhanced Fire Giant still, so there's no backdoor protections if they choose to go in for this tier 2 tower, and they are gonna do just that. A lot of AoE damage still on the side of Bodega Hive with Opwash. Ultimate coming up soon. They could go for this Phoenix, although that Freya is gonna be respawning relatively soon. Looks like they're gonna opt to back away, clear up some jungle farm, maybe go for the Pyromancer, or keep clearing up these towers as we see them rotating into the mid lane.
Now, something we haven't mentioned this game yet are these amazing Ymir walls that have been happening. Ymir has been popping off with his walls. Being able to single out certain players of Bodega Hive in team fights and being able to really section off Bodega Hive so that they can't fight as 5. Those walls have been amazing.
Beastie and Grizzle's really been just threading the needle with these and just, like you said, splitting off the team.
Yeah.
Fighting the fights, and that is exactly what you want to see, because Bodega Hive has been fighting as a unit, and they've been doing very well as that. You know, sure, we got a little bit of a spread out here and there as they were playing rather aggressive in the jungle side, but you know, when these Ymir walls are coming out, congrats, now you're isolating these targets even further, and Death Dealers are just taking advantage of that, taking members off, collapsing on the same person and dealing damage to one and just moving it from one to the next throughout these fights.
Absolutely, absolutely, and it's been so revitalizing to see like them communicate and being able to talk like that and show their talking into action and being able to really secure their own kills that way and being able to see that support from their support. It looks like we're going to be seeing a 4v4 over here in the right side jungle around this Fire Giant, as fire is falling off of Death Dealers, but they aren't going to let this next Fire Giant go without a fight.
Death Dealers approaching his 5. Their Titans back to full health. Their Phoenixes are getting very healthy. Fire minion waves to push it down. This is an even fight going into this 35-minute mark for this next Fire Giant, and it looks like teams are just trying to exchange a little bit of poke and not get each other caught off. A little bit of ward wars going on right now.
And it does look like Death Dealers was able to close a significant portion of their gold gap, going from about 18k gold down to about 8k gold down, hovering around the 9k mark. But as we get into this late game, gold doesn't matter as much, but when you're having board fights like this, it does matter when you have that gold in pocket. But Frank does look like he's going to get caught out trying to push up his minion waves. Unfortunate, as Death Dealers now is a 4v5 as they pick up this Fire Giant with Charon and Freya and Marty trying to secure it quickly before Death Dealers realize that they're even on it. But we got Bologna, Ymir hanging around, Brygen being picked out by this Ravana, and Jungle Jimmy securing the kill, but Death Dealers is going to secure this Fire Giant and get it.
Death Dealers secure the Fire Giant, and then looking like they're trying to run away as best as they can, but unfortunately for Beastie McGrizzle, that is not running away fast enough. You know, you're kind of a big frost giant, you're moving a little bit slow. They did get the enhanced fire giant. Let's see if the 2 members remaining on the Death Dealer side are able to defend until Frank gets back up. 15 seconds out still. It's gonna be a difficult call.
15 seconds is not a long time, so they have to burn this quickly. And with Bologna here, they may have a little bit of a delay from burning this Titan down, but it looks like Frank is able to get back up and able to throw out some big damage numbers. Frank securing the kill on Bluey, but Death Dealer's health bars are low. Expo really being the only front line here, as Ravana is 3/4 health and Marty is around the corner, but it does look like they are going to back up and not fight this, as they recognize Death Dealers does have enhanced fire on Maman and Bologna, who have really been a menace in these games. Maman being up there in damage with the rest of Bodega, and Bologna not falling too far behind in damage numbers here. And it does look like for the first time, Death Dealers is going to try and contest this beacon, as Bodega is securing this Primal Fury to try and secure that for the next Fire Giant that's coming around.
Yeah, Bodega was happy, I guess, trading their ADC for a Phoenix. Obviously not the most optimal outcome. They were looking for a little bit more and hopefully ending the game, but Death Dealers, like you said, 2 enhanced fire giants, one of them being on this Maman Burjet. You know, early game, we were seeing it struggle a little bit. Now in this late game, you got items online, you got penetration, you got power built up. This guy's putting up some numbers, trying to compete up with the numbers over on the Bodega Hive side with the Smart Forest and Outwash, but still, the single target burst damage coming out of this character is really what's helping. You get the lockdown from the Ymir, and then they're just blowing up the target. Good follow-up coming through.
Absolutely, and even if this Ymir falls, the team has been secure enough and peeling for each other in a way that they're able to secure kills and be confident in their play style. So it's fine if the support dies. Just throwing that out there.
It's fine if the support dies.
It's fine.
Supports, you hear that out there?
As a mid laner, I'm allowed to say it.
You saying that chaos and kill securing. That's what you guys do. Over here, we're saying it's fine if. Okay, you know what? Support players, we love you. Do your best out there. I believe in you.
We, not to knock on any support players, Dark Dumbledore is 4-4, and those 4 deaths were only recent. So Dark Dumbledore has been running, and Marty, he had more kills than Marty at one point in mid lane. So supports are powerful. I will say that, but it's okay if supports die. That's all I'm saying.
It's okay if supports die. 5-man grouping over here, moving into the dual lane is Bodega Hive pushing in. We still got enhanced fire giant for about another minute over here on the side of the Death Dealers. 2 members holding it strong, as we have Fire Waves also pushing in from the mid lane. You're gonna have to split up their focus just a tad, or maybe not even if all 5 members just kind of chill over here. Nobody really playing as Maman Burjet should be able to clear up these waves, no problem.
Absolutely, we are seeing that 5-man rotation into this Phoenix, but it looks like Death Dealers are just ready to fight at any point. And seeing this difference is huge for us to be able to talk about, where Death Dealers being able to group up and be able to communicate effectively is just so revitalizing. I'm so happy to see them working together and defending and being able to put up a real big fight.
All right, Bodega Hive realizes, guys, let's back off. We'll get our wards set up over in the low side jungle. We'll get set up around Fire Giant. Look for a pick, and this time we're gonna push it out even further. Last time they got the pick on Frank over there. They sat there and got the pick on the Raijin as they were coming in for the defense, the Death Dealers, but just falling short of securing that Fire Giant. Now, do it a little bit more cleaner, get that spacing out, and secure it. Or Death Dealers coming on in, they're going to do it themselves.
Right. We do see Bodega Hive rotating very, very early to this Fire Giant, putting out some wards, it looks like, or having Ravana be their ward and trying to get some vision out there, as Fire Giant is about a minute and a half away. Oh no, it should be coming up right now, as they are ready to fight for this. But all 3 Phoenixes are back up for Death Dealers, so Death Dealers is going to put up a fight as Bodega starting up this Fire Giant, realizing that they're on it and trying to get into this fight. But 2 knockouts are going to put out some damage on the Bodega side. I could not see them, but that was Bodega Hive who picked up the Fire Giant there. And Jungle X Jimmy securing that kill onto Frank Sr. from accounting. Bologna getting caught out into the solo lane over on the right-hand side. And it looks like she is 1 health, but also Ymir falling down as well to the Ravana. Looks like just Maman and Raijin living on the side of Death Dealers, being able to escape and put up this tower defense.
5 members strong, moving on in, very healthy as the bomb goes down. Enhanced Fire Giant, and they are marching into the Titan room. Bodega Hive is ready this time, and they are going to do it. They want to put this game away once and for all. Alonzo Jet says not so soon as she half healths this Freya, but gets half health herself in return. A little bit of a trade. Frenzy gets popped over on the side of Bodega Hive. Right, goes up in the ultimate. That Titan is down to half HP. They're doing their best to secure, keep this dream alive with the Death Dealers, but ultimates are getting dropped left and right on the side of Bodega Hive, and the Titan goes down. Death Dealers fall, and Bodega Hive take the set 2-0. 43 minutes flat. Nice.
43 minutes flat.
43 minutes flat. That last Fire Giant fight. Okay. Teams were grouped up. Bodega Hive was there. They had the wards ready. They had the wards before they were even making the dual lane side push. Then they back early. They come on over. They get it set up. They get it ready. Frank's over in the dual lane. I understand you have the teleport, but when you're seeing double Hunter over on the side of the Death Dealer, or I'm sorry, over on the side of Bodega Hive, you know, one of them being a Freya in the late game by all, you can't make it in time. You know, that teleport's great, but it's not coming out fast enough. You know, your cast time alone isn't the time it takes for them to deplete the HP bar of that, especially once that frenzy gets popped.
Right. That frenzy really secured that for them and was really ready. They were ready for this enhanced fire. They weren't going to let Death Dealers steal it away again. That was 2 fires that Death Dealers was able to steal away from Bodega, and Bodega was pissed. So they were ready to go in and try and secure that and be done with it.
Death Dealer's doing a phenomenal job, though. I have to say, a phenomenal job of bringing this game back from what you said, 17K at one point. Truly, you know, you guys closed the gap. You guys played your team fights correctly, but, you know, when it came down to the last minutes in these last couple team fights, a little bit more structure, a little bit more discipline in those kind of moments really makes that big difference.
Yeah, absolutely. But it was a great fight across both teams. So thank you, everyone, for coming out for this early Sunday morning. Very early Sunday morning game. We will be live again tonight at 8 p.m. for another matchup for the Walker division. We will be watching Vibe Tribe versus Ice Age this evening with Raptor and Dr. Shrew. So go ahead and check us out here. And thank you, Zach and Ginkgo, for coming out and casting with us this Sunday morning.